Hello, my name is Shomadip Chakraborty and today I'm going to be talking about Section 144, a sword to prevent the expression of dissent. Under Section 144, the District Magistrate or Subdivision Officer has been authorized to pass orders directing individuals to take certain actions against their property or abstain from doing certain acts. Though originally the purpose behind the enactment of this legislation was to maintain law and order, over the period it has been used to stifle any form of dissent towards this government by the citizens. The most common exercise which the authorities are resorting to nowadays is shutting down the internet. The authorities revert to Section 144 to enable and maintain peace in the area. The entire structuring of the position establishes the fact that the use of this section must be resorted to only in extreme and urgent cases and not ordinarily. Any order passed under the Section 144 infringes upon the fundamental rights of the citizens, including violations of fundamental rights to freedom of speech and expression, right to free movement and right to assembly. Therefore, any justification of the section must meet the threshold of reasonable restriction as elucidated under Article 19 of the Constitution. Firstly, the measure undertaken must be necessary at that particular moment. Secondly, the measure must be undertaken to achieve a proper purpose. And lastly, the measure adopted must have a rational connection with the objective or purpose thought to be achieved. Though the Constitutional Court of the country has repeatedly upheld the vice of the provision, at the same time, the provision remains one of the most criticized and draconian provisions in today's democracy. The authorities have been repeatedly imposing Section 144 to curb any type of protest or dissent, and the officials are extending the period of Section 144 without even contemplating the matter seriously. The critics have protested against the existence of the provision because the section confers wide powers upon the authorities to impose Section 144 and restrain the liberties of the citizen. The entire theme of this section revolves around the idea of unlawful assembly. The law states that if there is a likelihood of a riot that could happen, in such cases, the courts are authorized to impose the section. However, nowhere does the provision say that a peaceful demonstration or agitations on the part of the citizens against the policies of the government could be restrained. Section 144 also has a very wide relation with the internet shutdown. During the Patel agitations in Gujarat in 2015, Section 144 was widely used, and it was used not just to prevent people from assembling. However, it was used as a tool for shutting down the internet imposed in several areas. The petitioners, including Chief Petitioner Aura Sureshbhai Vyas, approached the Gujarat High Court to nullify the acts of the government during internet shutdown, as the petitioner pleaded that the very act of the authorities imposing internet shutdown is against the scheme of the Constitution. The petitioner argued that the internet shutdown violated several of the fundamental rights, including infringing Article 14, 19 and 21 rights. But the Gujarat High Court disagreed with the submissions of the petitioner and held that the powers under Section 144 exercised a wide powers to prevent any kind of riots in the country, and therefore the powers with the magistrate are also extend to shutting down the internet, as it is also in the interest of maintaining law and order. In the case of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India, the Indian Supreme Court has struck down the Section 66A of the IT Act on the grounds that the language of the section confers very wide and arbitrary powers upon the authority, and therefore the wording of the section is not in consonance with the reasonable restrictions provided under Article 19 of the Constitution. The court in this case observed that the anticipated danger should not be remote, conjectural or far-fetched. It should have proximate and direct nexus with the expression. In other words, the expression should be inseparably locked up with the action contemplated, like the equivalent of a spark in a powder keg. This was a very landmark judgment for the democratic country like India, and the court established that the right to freedom of speech and expression cannot be tinkered with easily, and the court will look down upon any such practice which imposes a restriction on such right without any sufficient cause. From the above discussion, it can be concluded that the government's response to the protest of the people has been very authoritarian. The origins of the provision can be traced back to colonial times. Even then, several political leaders were arrested by the government, including Nehru and Gandhi, for breaching the peace and affecting public tranquility. The problem with this section is that it is so vaguely and overbroadly worded that it allows almost every action of the executive within the purview of the Act. What should be legal standards used by the government to govern Section 144? Given that the courts have given utmost importance to freedom of speech and expression, the threshold to be used must be some sort of event which has direct and proximate link with the public order of violence. The state can impose Section 144 if there is a clear evidence of violence and not a mere likelihood or apprehension of violence. In the case where the state contemplates that there is an apprehension of violence or public unrest, it must rake up its security arrangements instead of imposing Section 144. In the recent case of Anuradha Bhasin, the Supreme Court has again upheld the internet shutdown in the Valley of Kashmir for almost more than 4 months. The court seemed to be taking differential viewpoints while adjudicating upon the internet shutdown matter. Section 144 orders under Kashmir were mere 8 words with no material being produced by the government for the imposition, and still the court upheld the validity of the order. What is required is that the court shall use the rigorous standards of review while adjudicating a case related to the imposition of Section 144. Also, the judgments need to be substantially quicker, as a significant amount of damage has already been done by the time the judgment is delivered. What also can be done is the imposition of costs upon the state or upon the erring public officials in order to achieve genuine deterrence and future compliance with constitutional standards. With this, I would like to end my speech, and I would like to extend my thanks towards Advocate Jivan Prakash sir for providing me with this opportunity. Thank you.